Hey everyone, it's Jason and welcome to another Marvel Zombies unboxing. This is for the Guardians of the Galaxy set. Of course, a zombie side game. This is the one of the few expansions that doesn't come with extra tiles, but it does come with an alternate mode. So we're gonna of course get 4 living heroes, 4 zombie heroes, as well as a zombie Thanos to fight against us, plus some bystanders. So I'll do is I'll go over the zombie characters, and I'll go over the living characters, and then we'll look into the rulebook and see how the Thanos mechanic works. We'll do that a little bit separately. There's also 4 exclusive Kickstarter characters, which, so if you buy this at retail, it's not going to be the exact same box here, because here it's going to show all the characters that came in the Kickstarter version, because we get some extra characters unlocked. So just a heads up with that you might not have these unless you can find the Kickstarter version. So we'll do those 4 characters last, just to make sure you know that there might be the difference between the two. I do wish, though, it's cool when they add them right into the box like this, versus putting them in like special other boxes. But I also wish they put somewhere on here that just was the Kickstarter version, so people knew that difference right off the bat. Alright, so let's go ahead and hop into our first character. I'm going to slide my camera down. I'm going to do the zombie playable zombies first, because that's the core idea of Marvel Zombicide, is to play as zombies. You can buy the resistance boxes, whether it's Hero Resistance or X-Men Resistance, to play as the living versions as well. But again, it's not meant to be the focus. So here we have Drax the Destroyer. Good old Arthur Douglas. See if I can get this to focus on him at all. Like downside, you don't always want to focus when there's a card on screen. So it wants to focus on this text. Focus on this miniature right in front of you. There we go. Yeah, I love the zombie sculpture. Look at that. He's all these different swords in him. Just the resilience of Drax in general, as well as his, zombie form. Got sword all the way through, knife in his back, big giant knife sword in his chest, another one through his arm. Definitely scary. I also love the fact that they have the comic book colors more so than the movie colors, which are really fun. So he has dual knives. I'm going to assume that if you're watching an expansion video, you have checked out at least the core box set, so you know the mechanics of how devour and all that stuff works. So I'm not going to re-go through all that in this video. So we have dual knives as melee with 2 dice and 3 accuracy. Tyrant Devourer. When devouring, you may reroll any misses if there's a guard or a superhero in your zone. Each time you devour a guard or superhero, draw 1 zombie trait. Ooh, so he's going to gain benefits for trying to go after the bigger threats. Which makes sense for Drax, right? Rampaging Hunger. Once during your turn, you may increase your hunger to move up to 2 zones into a zone containing enemies, then perform 1 free devour attack. Interesting. So not only is he he's going after guys, but he's also focusing on a devour mechanic. So he's not just doing damage. He wants to generally run up and devour people. I like the moving attack is a very zombie side thing as well. And then finally we have Devouring Destroyer. Each time you devour a guard or a superhero, you may perform 1 additional devour attack before reducing hunger. This may cause additional devour attacks. Interesting. So yeah, this is kind of a weird character, because he got devour, you only get 1 die, and you have 4 accuracy. So it's not going to it's not going to necessarily eliminate everything, but the fact is he can keep devouring people over and over. And when he does, he can gain traits, he can reroll misses, He can move in and get free attacks. So yeah, he can just generally jump up and take guys out. Plus with his middle one, he can use it to take out bystanders a lot quicker. He can devour anybody, but he wants to focus on them guards and super. So that's kind of a neat little concept, right? A little different thing. Maybe if you're fighting a map that has a mission or whatever that has a lot of guards and superheroes, you might choose to take him instead. Alright, up next we have Nebula, the daughter of Thanos. I don't know why it won't just... Yeah, I'm gonna have to keep moving these out of the way, otherwise it's... I was hoping I wouldn't have to keep moving the cards because it's kind of a pain, but otherwise this just won't focus on the character and then you really don't get to see the cool miniature. Yeah, so it's really neat. She has her, like, cyborg limbs, but they're all kind of, like, janky and broke down. So, like, even though, like, yeah, she's a zombie, like, she's not really doing too worried about terribly maintaining her cyborg abilities or parts. And then, yeah, she has a big, giant bow staff. Which, like, pierced right through the rock. It's pretty cool. Alright, now let's look at her abilities. She has her Electro Staff, melee with 3 and 4. Killing Strike. Before attacking with Electro Staff, you may choose to roll only one die. No bonuses possible. Add 2 to the result of the die. Successful roll deals a number of hits equal to your hunger level. Interesting. So instead of rolling 3 die and hoping for 4 accuracy, you roll 1 die only. And then you get 2 extra dice to that roll. So to hit 4, you at most need to roll a 2. So it's a very good chance of rolling that because you only need to get 4, 5, or 6. So the minimum you have to roll is a 2 to be able to have that. And that's going to deal hits equal to your hunger level. So it's kind of neat, and I think some people look at some of these various other abilities that are like this is like, well, yeah, but if I roll 3 dice, I can do, 3 hits. So if you don't use at least 3 hunger, it's not the same. But the difference is, with rolling the 1 die to 2 thing, you have a better shot at almost guaranteeing it. Because, again, you only have to roll a 2. So if you roll a 1, you don't get it. You roll a 2, you hit accuracy. So you're going to have a lot better chance. But again, yes, if you don't have 3 hunger, you're not going to do as many hits. But you could potentially do 4, which is very possible. But the thing is, even if it's only doing 1 or 2, it's almost a guaranteed 1 or 2 hits. Versus rolling 3 dice, you could potentially miss all 3 of them. So it's kind of a back and forth on which way you want to go with it. She has Whirlwind. Before attacking with Electro Staff, you may replace your base dice with 1 die for each enemy in the zone before any bonuses, ignoring superheroes for this attack. Cool. So again, a replacement effect. So instead of rolling 3 dice, you gotta roll 1 for every enemy. So there you go. There's 5 enemies in there, you roll 5 dice. So basically the bigger the threats, the more she can do. Plus you get to ignore superheroes, so that's pretty cool. And then Bionic Override, while Ravenous, you may perform actions as normal. So getting up to that 4 hunger is not going to affect her at all. So use your things to boost up your power, your traits and stuff. Yeah, this is definitely neat. Also, like comparing it to Drax, where she's going to kind of be able to sort of run in and take out a bunch of the small fries, where Drax can then focus on the bigger guys. That's pretty cool. I also like the fact that you gotta make all these characters different enough, not just from each other in this set, so if I want to play the 4 Guardians together, but different enough from, the Avengers or the X-Men. And so far, I haven't found any characters that play terribly much like each other, not including living versus zombie versions. Obviously, I always gonna have some characters that are gonna play the similar, because you need characters that are gonna have, otherwise, if you have every character play completely different, it probably wouldn't work very well. So here we have Rocket. Let me scooch this out of the way so we can get a little bit better. So there he is on like a ship. He's got a giant rocket launcher, you know, with this goes good with his name. I do wish, I don't understand why, I do get why they didn't have a tile. I wish even for some of these games they would be like, here's one tile. But I get they didn't want to go like a space tile or something. But it would have been cool if they even had like a double-sided tile that was like in ship interior or crash site, right? Like even like the crash site would have been kind of cool. Like even if it was, you know, sadly like, oh, like here's where the Guardians, you know, ship crashed and this is where they're at, right? That would have been a neat little thing where they could have like move like from New York into like that spot, and work around that. I mean, kind of a neat little option, or like even like in like crash site into the interior, you could go in and maybe like a room or two. But yeah, they didn't unfortunately do that. So we have Arsenal, range attacks. We have our first range character, 2 dice, 3 accuracy. Gonna need that brain. Whenever another zombie hero within 2 range discards a zombie trait, you may gain that trait. Oh, so that's pretty fun. So use up them traits a lot. And Rocket can keep picking them up and just keep using them. Waste of a good meal. After attacking, you may discard 1 zombie trait once to reroll any misses. When attacking with an arsenal, before rolling die, increase your hunger to its maximum. Interesting. So you can up your hunger all the way. Which lets you do more damage. But then, yeah, you can, after attacking, make discard 1 zombie. I like this after attacking, so you can wait until after you attack to see if you need to reroll. Which is pretty fun. And then, plus, you discard zombie traits. If you use this top one, you can keep gaining them back from somebody else. It's not even that bad. And I'm improvising. During your turn, you may discard 1 zombie trait, perform 1 free arsenal attack. This may be done multiple times. Cool. Yeah, so you can basically keep discarding his stuff to gain free attacks. Then you can also discard him for rerolls, or you can up his thing. So it's kind of, he's based on using the zombie traits as a resource as opposed to just for whatever they do. And it seemed to work well if he's with somebody else, if they could, you know, yeah, give him, like, he picks up ones he doesn't really need. It's kind of cool. Definitely interesting. Alright, then our 4th zombie is, of course, Peter Quill, the Star-Lord. I love the broken mask, which is really cool. He's got his element gun there. He's got his cassette player. He's getting very movie oriented. I said have all these like there's like a rocket sled that he probably like flew in on off or something. But that's would have been cool if they all had kind of like pieces of like a crash ship. That would have been neat. A neat set piece. Alright, so it's quad blasters is what they're just going to refer to them as here. So it's other range. You have 2 range, 2 melee. You're just playing with these 4 characters. Boosters. Once during your turn, you may spend 1 action to perform 1 move action, moving up to 3 zones. You do not ignore enemies. So cool. Gets extra movement across the map, but he still has to watch out for enemies. But it's still not bad. So far, there hasn't been a character in this set that lets you get across the board pretty quick. Family style. When a zombie hero in your zone devours an enemy or bystander, each other zombie within 1 range may reduce their hunger by 1. When devouring, add +1 dice roll to each other zombie hero for each other zombie hero in your zone. Oh, so this is neat. So like, the idea is lots of times is like you might spread your characters out a little bit. These guys kind of want to stick together because that way, his family style here really works well with Drax trying to devour everything. Keep everyone else's hunger down if you need to. And then, with when devouring, I +1 for each other zombie in your zone. Keeping him with like Rocket around, then they can gain those bonuses to each other. They can be discarding each other's traits to gain them, so it's kind of cool. And I'm a distraction. Once during your turn, another zombie hero within 2 range may perform 1 free attack, then adding +1 dice to the result, then resume your turn. Cool. Then telling the zombie guys what to do. That's pretty fun. Yeah, so just basically like, hey, you do something else, and then jump in. Cool. So those are our 4 zombies. So let's jump in and look at our heroes that we get to fight against. The Guardians did not get turned. We're going to start with Gamora. Oh, is it really just because it's that much on this in my camera focus? There we go. There's Gamora loaded up with not only a gun, but a sword. Now, I don't think that's her God Slayer. He's like her big honking sword she gets in the comic books at one point. But yeah, definitely neat. You can see some aesthetics with the armor and stuff. It would have been cool if we got the cloak, like, hooded version of her. That would have been neat, too. Again, I think they were trying to go more for, like, movie-esque styles. Alright, so she has Assassin's Tool. So her range, she gets 1 for 2 and 3. Critical Strike. When attacking, each die result of 6 counts as 2 hits against a single enemy. Neat. That's pretty cool. So you can get lots of 6s. Hopefully she has some way of, like, re-rolling dice for that fact. But she has, in orange, she has Thanos' Will. You may ignore target priority. That's awesome. She can specifically take out walkers or runners first if she needs to. Each power-up action grants you +1 power after rerolling an attack, and you spend 1 to reroll any dice. Okay, so that's definitely cool. So she powers up, she'll gain 3 instead of 2. She can also spend them once to reroll any dice, which will really help with her critical strikes. If she can hit them, she can take out more enemies. And then choose. Obviously, she rolls a 6. She can take out brutes a lot quicker. Or use like 2 6s to take out most heroes very quickly. And then enhanced stamina. Once during your turn, you may perform 1 free attack or move action. Cool. So just straight up utility. She's gonna get in there and attack is what she's gonna do, which makes sense. She's the deadliest woman in the galaxy. So it makes sense for her to do that. Alright. Then what, of course, would the Guardians be without Groot? Who I think Groot is one of them characters that, like, if they try and maintain some semblance of stuff, is he probably won't ever get a zombie version. It's definitely awesome. Just for his big giant trees and stuff. I do also like the fact when they make Rocket and Groot separate characters. I get that they're generally buddy and everything together, but they've had enough stuff where they do things their own, and they're unique enough characters to not always have them just be a pair. Alright, so Groot has, of course, his attacks are I Am Groot, which is a melee attack. He has 4 health under the I Am Groot. So 4 health, so once during each round you may prevent 1 wound you would suffer. So extra health, plus the fact that he can ignore points of damage. So he's going to be your good tank character. In orange we have I Am Groot. Once during your turn, you may spend 1 power to select 1 zone within 1 range. Move all enemies in that zone into an adjacent to it. Okay, so push. So he can then spend energy to push characters somewhere else. Or pull. I like that it's nice and, blank like that. So you can move all enemies to a zone adjacent to it. You can pull them all into your zone if you like, or shove them over into the zone where Gamora is and have her just go hog wild on them. And then his red is I Am Groot. And when attacking with I Am Groot, you may spend 4 power to target all zones within range 1. Ooh. Roll once, applying the total number of hits to each zone. That's cool. So he can target all 5 zones around him. Because obviously you can't target diagonally, but you can target the cardinal up, down, left, right directions. Plus the one he's in by spending 4. So letting him boost up a couple of times definitely could be very powerful. The only thing would be neat if it was 3, just because then you could use I Am Groot to pull guys closer to you, I guess. But yeah, that's awesome. Get everyone together and just have Groot running. He can tank a couple guys, maybe take a hit for a turn or 2 with his extra top ability, his blue one, and then just have him annihilate everyone in one roll. Have him spend. Look at this, he's spending all 4, so you're not going to be able to use any extra dice. So traits could be very, very important for Groot here. Alright, our next Guardian character is Mantis, and this is definitely more comic book inspired than movie inspired. And she's on top of a eyeball plant monster. Definitely cool. Yeah, this is where she gets more of like her earthing-ish costume. Come on, focus on her camera. Definitely cool. Alright, let's take a look what her ability is. She has martial arts. Because she's a martial artist. Yeah, she's more combat oriented in the comic books than in the movies. The movie, she was kind of just like a supportive character. Yeah, she's more active in the comics. Yes, this would be our second melee character. Meditate. Once during your turn, you may either gain 1 power or draw 1 heroic trait. Nice. Just helps boost up your stuff. Empathic control. Once during each enemy phase, when enemies in a zone of your choice within range 1 would move, you may spend 1 power to prevent them from moving. Interesting. So you can stop enemies from moving, so that could very much help them, keep them from getting into your zone. Keep them where you want them. Then we have Restoration. At the end of each phase, you may spend 2 power to heal 1 wound from all superheroes within 1 range. Oh, cool. There's not nearly enough characters that have healing abilities, so having it healing, even if it's not till red, having a healing character is pretty cool. Plus, it heals all characters. So yeah, even having her kind of just hang out near Groot. And like Groot can take some damage, or Gamora can run in and take some hits too as well, because she's trying to tank everything. And then have Mantis come in and be like, boom, I'm gonna heal you guys. And the fact that she can gain power once during her turn, she means she'll have 2 power every turn no matter what, so she always uses every single turn, which is really cool. That's actually pretty sweet. Then the fourth and final living character is a little bit different, because we have Nova. So he's not your typical Guardian of the Galaxy character, but he is also a cosmic character. And this is actually Sam Alexander, so this is the younger, more current version, at least as the time of them. And I always say that because most people would know old comic book characters. We know Nova as being Richard Rider, who's now Nova Prime generally. So yeah, we'll see kind of how maybe his more, I hate this camera sometimes. He's more inexperienced, where it's all of these on like some meteorites that crashed. It's pretty fun. Yeah, he has like any more inexperienced stuff that maybe like plays into this. So he has Nova Shot, so this is our other range. You basically get 2 melee, 2 range. Force Field. Each time enemies attack your zone, you may spend 1 power. If you do, before assigning wounds, roll 1 die for each wound. On a 5+, prevent that wound. Okay, cool. So like, Groot auto ignores 1 damage, no matter what. But if he takes 3 damage, he's still gonna take 2. Technically, Nova could block every single point of damage. So when he attacks your zone, you may spend 1 energy. If you do, before assigning wounds, you can roll 1 die for each wound. So if he would take 3 hits, right, he could roll roll one die for each wound. You could potentially negate all three of them. Again, it's a lot riskier, where Groot's is always going to happen. No matter what, he's going to prevent one. His is like more of a 75% chance, but it's still technically pretty cool. Hypergate. Once during your turn, you may spend one power to have yourself or another superhero within 2 range perform one free move action, moving one zone and ignoring enemies. Oh, cool. So, mini teleportation. So you can basically have someone get a free move and get around guys. So this could be very good for escaping, getting into a building, or getting out of a building quicker, so you can ignore enemies. Or position guys, like, hey, let's drop Groot right in the middle of guys rather than having him trying to run through them, because then he has to spend more move points to get through each zone. You can just move him right into the middle. That's kind of cool. Another host of the Nova Force. For each power-up action grants you +1, and all superheroes also gain 1. So kind of like, again, keeping your Guardians together is going to be very beneficial. Mantis can restore health to all of them. Groot can technically protect them all, because he can absorb the damage, and then he can also take out. They start gathering up because all the enemies would come towards your group versus spreading out across the board, and then he can boost everyone up. Cool. Yes, definitely a very neat idea there. All right, and then we're going to look at the character cards. If you're fighting against them. So if you are a zombie hero and you're playing, you might have to come up against a living Gamora, who's going to have, once per activation, roll a die. After she attacks on a 4+, she performs one free attack, so potentially double strike. Groot, the first time he's eliminated, he respawns in the same zone with 2 toughness. Oh, nice. So you take him out, and then he comes back as Kid Groot. Mantis. Zombie heroes within 1 range are considered ravenous at hunger 3. Oh, so she makes your guys weaker. That's pretty crazy. And then if you're fighting Nova, spawns a number of troopers according to a higher gainus level among zombie heroes. 2, 3, 4, or 5. Oh, that's fun. So it kind of essentially spawns with a Nova Core. That would have also been a cool thing to add in here as well, since they didn't have game tiles. Would have been like, so like one of the other sets has additional zombies. It would have been kind of neat if they had additional heroes, characters for your zombies to fight against. And that would have been a neat one here. You could have had some like Nova troopers that could have came in and worked like opposite of like the Hydra soldiers from the Hydra set. That would have been kind of fun as well. And then he could have been a character that spawns specifically with those. If you are a hero, you might have to come up against Zombie Drax. Each time a superhero within 2 range performs a power-up action, Drax performs 1 action. So yeah, you take time to sit there and charge, up your abilities. Drax is just going to punch you in the face. Which it definitely fits in line with Drax. He's not one to watch around and sit you do stuff. Nebula, her zone is attacked, but she is not eliminated. She has toughness 5 till the end of the round. Ooh, interesting. So if you attack her, but you don't do 4 damage to her defeat her, all of a sudden now she's stronger till the end of the turn. So now she's like aware that you're trying to take her out. So then now you can't like, oh, I'm going to attack a second time. It's going to be harder to take out. Rocket. Brute, start their activation within 2 range of him, gain 1 action. Hang around the big guys, they gain extra abilities. That's fun. And then finally, you might have to fight off against Star-Lord. If there's a bystander within 2 range, when he activates, his first action, he's placed in their zone. So he can go right towards other characters. That's definitely cool. Alright, so then we have some bystanders. Speaking of them, we're gonna have our good boy Cosmo the Space Dog here. Definitely a little cute little Cosmo dog. I am Cosmo not telepathic Russian space dog. And then the other bystander is Howard the Duck. Which, again, if this wasn't for the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, not to say I don't think Howard would have made it into the game, but he wouldn't have been part of the Guardians set. They would have picked somebody else. Yeah, he's holding a notepad and stuff because he's a detective. Alright, then we're going to look at their cards. Oops. So I'm going to do is put out both of these. And then we'll look at both at the same time. So if we are playing either a hero or a zombie, we get a fight, we might have to deal with Cosmo. Blue would be if they're the living version. And if you're a zombie, you're going to go after the living guys. And if you're a hero, you're going to go after the zombie one. But they basically, at lock times, you have the same type of ability. So each time you eliminate an enemy, you may eliminate one additional walker in that zone. And then the zombie version says a trooper, which is just the living version of that. Yeah, so it's something. And it's a combat character as well. So very much the same thing. But hey, having the ability to eliminate extra characters is always a cool thing to do. And then we have Howard the Duck. Once per round, you may spend 1 power to ignore 1 wound you would suffer. Or in Zombie, once per round, you may increase your hunger to ignore 1 wound you would suffer. So, hey, extra defense is always a great thing to have. So both of those are really cool bystanders. Alright. Then, for the regular set, the next thing we have is Big Old Boss Thanos. So let's take a look at the big man himself. So Thanos here is red instead of the green or blue. And this is because he is technically an alternate mode of the game. You can add him in as a character to fight just in general, which is fine as well. But yeah, he's meant to kind of hop in and basically be a hindrance to whichever side you're playing as, which is definitely fun. And the thing is with Marvel Zombies, they're all cognitive enough to know what they're doing. So we're going to look at the rules here quickly. I'm going to zoom back out for a sec before we look at his card or anything. To kind of look at how his rules work. So, he's now the Dead Titan. Thanos can be added as an enemy to any mission by simply adding his hero card to the enemy hero deck, so you have one for either side. He's treated as an enemy hero for all gameplay purposes. Activates has 2 actions. He has a couple of special rules. Thanos comes first in the target priority before any other enemy hero. So if like him and Star-Lord are on the same spot, you have to attack Thanos first. When he is spawned, draw a number of Infinity Stone cards and place them next to his enemy hero card. The numbers determine the highest danger level amongst the heroes, so either 1, 2, 3, or 4. Thanos has all the abilities described on the Infinity Stone cards assigned to the enemy hero. At the start of each enemy phase, draw 1 additional stone and assign it to Thanos. If you manage to acquire all 6 stones, the player will lose the game unless they manage to eliminate him before the next player phase. So what this essentially does is if he comes out at red, you have 3 turns to take him out. And if you can't defeat him in 3 turns, you lose the game. And he's just going to get harder and harder. If he somehow spawns at level 1, you'll have 5 more turns. So you get a couple more options. But that's definitely a neat little, neat kind of mechanic. Just like puts an automatic time limit on him. I don't know if 2 turns is necessarily enough, because if he spawns like across the board, there might not be any way to get to him in 2 turns, unless you have a specific character. And that'd be the only thing that might suck, is if you lose just based on the fact is, oh, our characters are way over here, we're trying to collect this last token, and he spawns on spot 1 across the entire board. I think it would have been better if they had that mechanic where you just been, when he spawns, like, 1 space or like on spot with like the highest level hero or something. And at least it would give him a fighting chance. So he also has in zombie mode. Note, as a zombie, Thanos knows zombies are the greatest threats to his plan, so he uses his influence to fight the zombie heroes side by side with superheroes and shield agents. Therefore, his general behavior is the same as superheroes. This means Thanos does not attack superheroes and shield agents, but also ignores bystanders. And then So what this is basically saying is, even though he's technically a zombie, if he's fighting with the living characters against, like, I'm playing as zombie Drax, and zombie Thanos shows up, he's only going to still attack the zombies like if he was a living character. He's not going to attack shield agents. He's not going to hunt down bystanders like a zombie would. He's just more or less you treat him as a living character. They just didn't make a version for both. They could have made a living and an undead version, but they didn't. And then player hero. As a player-controlled zombie hero, Thanos is exceedingly powerful compared to most other zombie heroes. Read his ID card carefully. He has special abilities. When he's being used, we suggest playing with 4 zombie heroes, but using mission rules for 5 to 6 heroes. Otherwise, using them in 5 to 6 zombie hero modes that are proving particularly challenging. So he's kind of a little bit OP is what they're saying. So let's take a look at his abilities and what he does. Alright, so there is his. So yeah, you can see right off the bat, he has a couple of different things in here. He has, each one of his things is a different stone. Power Stone, Soul Stone for Devour, Mind, his yellow instead of 1 free action is now the Space Stone, the Time Stone, and the Reality Stone. Yeah, he's a little bit more powerful than everybody else. He still only has 5 health, though. So he has the Power Stone, which is a range attack 1 to 3 with 3 dice and 3 accuracy, which is pretty good accuracy for range. And he may reroll all dice once, so right off the bat. In his Soul Stone Devour, if this eliminates a target, reduce hunger by any amount. If a superhero will be eliminated, heal 1 wound. So normally hunger just automatically reduces to 0. He can opt to not reduce to 0 if he doesn't want to. There might be reasons for that. But he can also heal if he takes out a hero character, so that's pretty fun. In his blue, he has Mind Stone. Once during your turn, you may increase hunger to search the zombie trait deck for 1 trait card, then shuffle it back into the deck. And shuffle it back into the deck. Cool. They just to find the one he wants whenever he wants every turn. Space Zone. He gets his +1 action, but he also gets +1 move per zone. So he's going to move a lot quicker. The Time Stone. Once during each enemy phase, prevent your activation of all enemies in a zone of your choice within line of sight. Wow. You know what? Oh. So basically, yeah, stopping an entire zone from moving. That's pretty cool. And then finally, in Red, we have Reality Stone. When this is unlocked, eliminate half of each enemy type in each zone rounded up. Once during your turn, you may turn all guards and specialists in one zone within 2 range into troopers. Oh, that's crazy. So when unlocked, eliminate half of each enemy type in each zone. So the first time you unlock it, boom, you're gonna eliminate half the characters in the game. Rounded up. So that means if there's 4 guys, you eliminate 2, but if there's 3, you're still gonna eliminate 2 because that'd be there. And then once during your turn, you may turn all guards and specialists, so your brutes and your runner classes, into troopers, which are your walkers. So that's kind of cool. So every turn you can just make everyone weaker. That's pretty fun, and that can probably work well with some of the other characters. Although, like, Drax gains bonus from killing guards and devouring guards and superheroes, so Thanos wouldn't work well with Drax, which kind of thematically makes sense, even if they're both zombies. That is definitely a neat idea. Cool. So then we're going to look at his Infinity Stone cards. Now, one thing I also didn't like, I know there wasn't like tiles or anything. I wish there was some missions that went with this character. Like, it could have been a like just specific one that can work for anything where you're fighting off against Thanos. Like it could have been played a zombie or a hero, just swap your cards out, or it could have been like two hero missions, two zombie missions, where one like he's like maybe do something different in Infinity Stones, like have them like on the map and you have to try and collect them beforehand. But if he eliminates that character, then that stone drops and he can get them. It would have been kind of neat to have some different, like a custom mission for this character just in the book, just to give it a little bit more. But that's not what happened. So here are the two different versions you can throw in the deck. So you can fight them on either side. Spawns with Infinity Stones, blue, yellow, orange, or red. Gains one additional finish at the start of each phase. Has all 6 stones at the end of the phase, which is the game. So basically the same as I read before. They just put it on his card. So then he is going to have, on the backs of his cards, he's going to have the Infinity Stone picture. And we'll look at each one of these. So, Space Stone down moves 1 zone per move action. So, extra movement every turn. Bystander abilities cannot be used within 2 range of Thanos with the Soul Stone. Power Stone, Thanos attacks, deals 2 wounds. Time Stone, at the end of Thanos' activation on a die roll, on a +5, he performs 1 additional action. Roll again after each additional action. So on 5s instead of 6s, sometimes they get 6s. With the Reality Stone, Thanos acts as a spawn point during each enemy phase. That's terrible. A moving spawn point. And then Mind Stone, at the start of each enemy phase, all players within 4 range of Thanos are moved 1 zone towards them, ignoring enemies. Cool. These are really neat. They make him a super powerful. They kind of make him like a mini boss to play against. Which again, why I said I could see having him spawn or have him start on the board and he has to collect all the stones. That just adjust his ability a bit. Did some stuff there. The other thing, I guess personally, I thought would have been kind of neat with this would have been make the stones available for anyone to use instead of it. Thanos does this. Thanos does this. Just get rid of the main part there and let anyone collect them and do something with them. Because this could have been kind of like a neat little super powered mechanic. Hey, anyone picks up the Mind Stone, at the end of their phase, they may move an enemy towards them or away from them. That'd be kind of neat. Versus just, I get that they did this, so it's an automated mechanic for his character. And you're fighting against him, so you can have stuff like spawn points. But it would have also been cool if they had just a way for anyone to pick them up and use them as super powered traits, right? That could have been kind of cool. Even if they made a second deck of it where it was more or less you have to spend 1 power, 1 hunger, gain 1 hunger to use this every turn. Just adds you're not used to the power. So that would have been kind of cool. Alright. So then the last thing we have to go through is we're going to go through the 4 Kickstarter characters. This video is running a little long, but that's alright. So these guys were unlocked during the Kickstarter. I'm assuming they're Kickstarter only, because that's what they tell me, but they did come in a box. So if you do pick this box up at retail, at a game store, make sure you're checking to see if it's the one with all the characters on the back. So you know it's a Kickstarter version, or if it's not, if you're looking for these. But we have Drax the Destroyer. You can get a living version, which is fun. It's kind of neat because that way you can play as both versions of the characters. Alright, so let's look at what Living Drax does. Living Drax gets Dual Knives melee attack. He has Tyrant Hunter. Each time you would suffer a wound from brutes, roll a die on a 3+, prevent those wounds. Brutes suffer -1 toughness to a minimum of 1 against your Dual Knives attack. Okay, so kind of like the other one where he had to devour. Here he's just going to focus on brutes, not necessarily the heroes. But having someone that can just run around and basically make brutes 1 toughness, so he can take them out quicker and prevent stuff. He can just focus on the bigger threats. And then he has Reckless Charge. Once during your turn, you may spend 1 power to move up to 2 zones containing enemies and perform 1 free Dual Knives attack. Just run in, do it, and his Tyrant Hunter will kick off as well. And the Destroyer Each time you eliminate a brute or a zombie hero, gain 1 power. Each power you spend to add a dice grants you additional +2 dice instead. Oh, that is nice. So yeah, he's gonna become a massive tank later on in the game. Like, not be able to take damage, but he's just gonna dish it out like nobody's business. So that's definitely cool. Alright, so to go with that, we also get Living Nebula. So it's kind of neat, because right now we're getting living versions of the 3 different zombie characters we had. Oh, there we go. So yeah, I like this, where there's part of that ship laying there. And kind of like Gamora, like living Gamora. She has a gun and a knife, so she's dueling. But also, it's like her arm and her leg are like maintained, and they're, you know, put together. Like, right, where the zombie one, I said, was all like janky everywhere, because she's probably not worried about maintaining stuff. She has targeting rifle, ranged attack with 2 range, which is one of the higher ranges in the game. Sniper, your target priority, or ignore target priority. Oh, perfect. Before attacking with targeting rifle, you may spend any amount of power to gain that much additional range. Oh, she can just shoot across the entire board and take out whoever she needs to take out. Basically sacrificing extra dice for extra range. Bionic enhancements gain 1 power at the start of your turn. Each time you perform a move action, you may spend 1 power to move 1 additional zone. Cool. Extra power to either use for moving or to shoot farther. And then Relentless. Each time a rush or extra activation spawn card is drawn, you may perform 1 free action before it's resolved. It's always very helpful. I'm always kind of on this type of ability, because we get this, if like those cards are drawn really early in the game, then this ability is basically useless unless they pop back up. But yeah, otherwise we get this like later when she has us, she can be very much a force to be reckoned with. Cool. Alright, up next we have our 3rd living guardian that we didn't have before. We have Rocket. Yeah, he's standing on some stuff again, some ship parts again. We have more of the ship that's being destroyed. Now he has 2 guns instead of a big rocket launcher, so he's dual wielding. And then let's look at his his card here. So again, he still has Arsenal for his ranged attack. Overloading shot. Before attacking, you may spend any amount of power. If you do, roll 1 die. No bonuses possible. A successful roll deals a number of hits equal to the energy spent. So we saw this before with like Zombie Nebula. You basically spend power to roll that 1 die. Again, rather than rolling 2 die for his regular attack, you could roll up to 4 dice if you have enough power. It's going to deal damage. It was guaranteed. More of a chance to guarantee off a 1 die roll than hoping that 2 do a couple. Because you can do a lot more damage with it. So it's just that. It's a gamble. It's a risk one way or the other. Guaranteed less dice roll, but guaranteed higher damage potentially. Or, just roll regular. Says, I'm improvising. During your turn, you may discard a heroic trait, perform 1 free arsenal attack. This may be done multiple times, so he had that with his other version. And Laser Barrage. Before attacking, you may spend 1 power to roll +1 die for each enemy in the target zone before bonuses, ignoring zombie heroes for this attack. Cool. Just spend extra energy to roll extra die for each thing. So basically, the top one spend energy to do more hits, like focused attack to do more hits, or laser where you just spend it to do more dice. You have more chance to do more damage. But yeah, it's kind of cool. Interesting. I wonder if you could combine the 2. For attacking, spend 1 die roll for each enemy in the target zone. Oh, you have to spend 1 for each enemy. So yeah, you'd probably run out very quickly. That's cool. So then we have one zombie character as well as part of the Kickstarter. So the only living character, or undead character that doesn't get a living version in this set with the Kickstarter stuff would be Star-Lord. So we're gonna get Zombie Mantis. Yes, that's to let you thematically play out is somehow Star-Lord got infected, and then he slowly infected Rocket, Drax, and Nebula, well, the other guys, and then Mantis, so he slowly infects everyone else. The only person that doesn't get affected is, in this set, would be Gamora and Groot, and Nova. But they do have, probably in the Kickstarter exclusives, they have more. So here's her a little bit. I also like his a little bit different outfit. It's the same outfit, but it's a little bit dense out touring. There's that tentacle monster that was on her other one, but now it's buried. So maybe she like destroyed it. Alright, what is she? She has martial arts again. 3 dice for 4. She has combat reflexes. Each time an enemy moves into your zone, you may increase hunger to perform 1 free martial arts attack. So they come in, she has a quick counter attack. Empathic dominance. Once during your turn, you may select 1 zone within 2 range. Move all enemies in that zone into a zone adjacent to you, and all bystanders in that zone into your zone. Oh, interesting. Select 1 zone, it's 2 zones away. So all enemies can be moved into an adjacent zone. So you can either bring them towards you or push them away. But you can bring all bystanders into your zone, so basically she can eat people a lot quicker. And then suppress hunger. Each time any zombie hero within 2 range will become ravenous, you may suffer 1 wound or discard 1 zombie trait to reset your hunger to 3. Oh, that's neat. So she can take damage or discard stuff to power up a... keep another character from going critical. And it says you have to discard a zombie trait. Yeah, and that would work really cool with Rocket. Like, keep her next to Rocket. And then Rocket can pick up that trait. So she can discard to prevent hunger, and then Rocket can use that ability. That's cool. Alright, so those are all our characters, miniature-wise. But we do have, if you're going to fight against him. So if we are a zombie and we're fighting Rocket, he spawns 2 specialists. All specialists in 1 range can attack from 1 zone away. Again, this could have been cool, or you could have had that Nova thing, the Nova core in there, and he could have spawned with extra specialists that way. We have Nebula, can attack from 1 zone away when eliminated. 1 zombie hero in her zone suffers 1 wound. Cool, so she kind of self-destructs. Drax performs +1 action for each zombie hero at hunger level 3 or 4 within 2 range. Takes out the weak, makes sense. And then finally, if you're fighting against Zombie Mantis, well, within 2 range, superheroes can't use any skills that require spending power. Oh, that could really hurt a lot of characters. But that's kind of cool, because that does make it like, if you had her or you had Zombie Drax there, who would you take out first? Drax might be able to do more damage, but she's shutting down all your abilities. So it might force you to go after her first. Cool. So those are all our different Guardian of the Galaxy characters. So definitely if you got Marvel Zombie, whether you have Heroes Resistance or one of the Resistance sets, Hero or X-Men, or just the core one, and you want to play zombies or living characters, definitely gives you a lot of fun extra characters. If you can find the Kickstarter stuff, 4 extra characters is really fun. Definitely some things I think they could have made just a little bit bigger expansion instead of having like 1 brand new tile or something, the Infinity Stones or specialty troops. But it's not always bad just to have a small set that's just a couple of new characters. But that's what we got for this. Hope you guys check out the other videos. See you later. Bye.